Hey guys, so this video is going to be about having your Mars in a water sign. So we'll be talking about Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. If you didn't see my Mars intro video, I put the link down below to get a little more information about the planet itself. And if you are looking for some information about how to find your Mars, I put a website where you can do your birth chart and an app down below to help you guys out.
So yeah, I'm wearing some pretty crazy lipstick today. I think you've been watching me for a while, you know I can't put on lipstick for shit, but I don't know, I always keep trying, and this stuff is like kind of stained on there, so I decided to just leave it on. So if I look super creepy, sorry, but I guess you'll have to look at me if you want to hear about having your Mars in a water sign. Or you could just look away and listen, I guess, too. So yeah, I know I look like a creep, okay? I don't care. No.
If you want to jump to one sign over the next, I will put the times in right now. Cancer. Mars is in its fall here, which makes this placement a little more challenging, but no worries, we already know how to handle that if you've been watching my past videos. It's really challenging for this person to maintain perspective, and they tend to be oversensitive and emotional. They can be very impulsive, and they'll act on their emotions without really thinking it through. So this person does tend to overreact to things, but they really hate fighting and any sort of aggression. They instead hold their anger inside, which can be really detrimental to their health. Their other emotions, will come out easily, but they tend to really try to stifle that anger because they just hate dealing with it. So I guess that can be a good thing. This person looks for emotional support from others. This person really seeks passion from relationships, and they may have a difficult time getting out of a negative relationship. They want someone who's sensitive to them and who can give them support, but often they settle for the opposite of that. And instead of leaving, they tend to become clingy and possessive and, angry. It'll help if they can, look at the relationship and see if it's what they want, and if not, then try to get out of it immediately. This person's energy and motivation can sometimes come from anxieties or nervousness or irritabilities. So it can be really helpful for this person to find an outlet to get that stuff out so that they're able to focus and achieve the goals that they have for themselves. Once this person's able to tackle, getting a grip on their emotions, success will be a lot more easier for them to attain. And this person's also going to be quite devoted and imaginative. Sorry if that might have seemed a little negative, but I'm just trying to give the information out, and again, you can always get to a positive place even with a challenging placement or aspect. Scorpio. Mars is in its rulership here, so it's a much easier placement. This person is going to be brave, they're going to be determined, they'll want to do things for themselves, and they can be independently sufficient pretty easily. They can be intense individuals, and they can be very persistent in trying to get what they want. That being said, they're usually quite successful in achieving their goals because they're really driven and they direct their intensity towards a specific purpose. They can be quite resourceful and almost relentless in getting what they want. They really know how to not waste time when pursuing things. They also don't rush into things, and they take their time before acting. These people will want to be their own boss, and they can usually achieve this due to the intense amount of focus that they have. They also have luck on their side a lot of the times. Now, these people can also be very manipulative, and they might struggle because they can be easily jealous. They can also be vengeful, and they hate to feel like they've been wronged. Overall, though, this is a really great placement for Mars to be. Pisces. This placement is a bit more challenging, maybe not quite as challenging as Cancer. This person is going to be very receptive, and they're going to have the ability to read people, which can help them get what they want. Like, Mars being in Scorpio, they're also going to tend to have luck on their side. They can struggle because they can just be very unfocused. Also, they can be really overly emotional, so that combination can make it a challenge for them to pursue their goals. They really want success, but they'll have a hard time achieving it because they won't always have the drive and focus. They can be a bit unstable, they might turn to drugs or alcohol to kind of mask their sensitive nature. This person's really going to stand up for others, especially the underdogs in life. They can get behind people's causes, and they can be really helpful when assisting others. These people have powerful imaginations, and they can be really passionate. They can be generous and intuitive, and sometimes they just have to shut down because of how much they feel emotions and other people's emotions. It can be very overwhelming for them. They can really benefit from striking a balance between being overly energetic all at once and then losing that energy because they put too much into it and becoming very passive. So if they can strike a balance between those two, it'll really help them out. So that is having your Mars in the water signs, and this concludes the Mars series, and I will be starting a new series next week, which I'm very excited about. I'm going to be announcing it tomorrow in my 5-Minute Friday video. So that is pretty much it. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. already, I will link my other social media accounts down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow in my 5-Minute Friday video. Have a good day or night.
Bye.